Hello, this video is going to cover the Drivve conversion services. This is what allows us to view almost any file format in the browser without the need of a plugin or without the need of opening the actual file up. So because Drivve is completely browser based, and because we don't use any plugins like ActiveX or Microsoft Silverlight or any kind of stuff like that, we need to create previews of the document so that the user can see it inside of the browser. And as you saw before, and if you've ever used Drivve, you can create a quick preview, a thumbnail, or actually if you open it up, you can zoom in and zoom out and view the document and move it around and manipulate it and do all sorts of things like thumbnails and fun stuff like that. And what's actually happening here, even though this document, for instance, is a Word file, or I guess here it's a PDF, it could be a Word file or an email or an Excel file or anything like that. But actually what we're looking at in the browser is a PNG, which is a preview of the document. So the file is stored in its original file format, and because of the object-oriented database, we can store pretty much any file format in the database. But if it's a file like a PDF or an image or a Word file or an Excel file or an email, or we even have plugins for CAD files and some other file formats like that, we actually show a preview in the browser, which is a PNG, and that's what the user is actually seeing here. So what that means is we need to be able to configure that and maybe troubleshoot it if something goes wrong. And we do all that through the Drivve management console, or sorry, the service controller. So if I open the conversion settings here, there's also a link to the conversion settings from that folder that we went to on the desktop, the Drivve administration folder. But this is where I can configure what type of conversion is happening. And so if I select here in the controller the archive that I want to convert, I can see the size of all the PNGs that we've created. I can also set the processing priority, so how much of the system CPU resources do we want to take up. We can also show where we want that file or those files to be, which is the cache folder. I can also set the DPI and some other settings, and then if I wanted to, also I could just turn that service off. So the reason why I would want to turn that service off is if I didn't want to keep a cache of all those files. If I just wanted to do it on demand, which means whenever someone's in the browser and they find a document and they call up a preview, then it's going to render it there for them and then delete the PNG after they're done. Sometimes we want to do that because if we have a user or a customer who's putting a high volume or high amount of documents in there, but they're not necessarily opening them all up all the time, then we don't need to waste the resources and the space creating previews when we can just create the preview ad hoc whenever the user goes and finds that document. So if the system is being used every day and it's being all these documents are being called up often, then we want to keep the conversion service on, and it's on by default. But if it's really just used for storage, we can turn this conversion service off, and the users will just be able to call up a preview whenever they want to find a specific document. So one other thing that you'll want to know with the conversion service is that if you're ever having issues viewing a document in the browser, you can always come in here and empty the cache from the service controller. And when you empty the cache, it's going to clear out all of those PNG files that are stored so that the next time the user tries to open one, it'll regenerate that PNG file. So if we have some corrupt files in there, or it didn't work out, the viewer broke or something like that, or maybe it ran out of CPU in the middle of the process, then we can go in here and clear the cache, and the next time when I go and find that document, you see it'll create a new PNG, which is what it's doing right there. But it's pretty quick. So yeah, the conversion service, very easy to troubleshoot, but it means that the users can view the documents in an easier way and in a lot quicker way.